When I look at the landscape of the U.S. today, I see so much wasted potential. And this is especially true among low-income groups, among minorities. There's often stereotype about their abilities. There are often poorer schools, problems of poverty. And my life's work has been about how can we get these students to flourish. My colleagues and I designed an intervention that we call the growth mindset intervention. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities can be developed. You don't just have a certain amount and you're stuck with that. So many people in society have picked up this message that some people are smarter than others, some groups are smarter than others, and that's the way it's always going to be. You know, if you think your brain is fixed, when you approach something difficult, you feel dumb. Or if you make mistakes and have a setback, you feel dumb. But in what we call the growth mindset, every time you stretch yourself out of your comfort zone and learn hard new things, your brain makes new connections or strengthens connections. We base the intervention on our past research showing that students who believe that their intelligence can be developed actually do better over time than students who believe I have a fixed amount and that's that. We also draw on the latest neuroscience research showing that the brain has so much more ability to grow, change, transform than we ever imagined. We designed our intervention for adolescents. This is just a crucial time when so many kids are encountering greater difficulty, the grading gets more stringent, the environment gets less personal. So many students start getting discouraged and tuning out. We took children who were entering 7th grade, that very difficult transition. We measured their mindsets. Did they believe their intelligence was fixed, or did they believe it was something that could be developed? And then we just sat back and watched their math achievement over the next 2 years. And what we saw was, although they entered 7th grade with very similar achievement, when they hit this very difficult school transition, their grades jumped apart and continued to diverge over the next 2 years. The only thing that differed was their mindset. The intervention starts out with a lesson in neuroscience. So we teach kids about their brains, and in that context, we teach them that their intelligence can be developed. We took these 7th graders, there were 100 of them, we just divided them into 2 groups. The control group got 8 sessions of terrific study skills, but the growth mindset group got the study skills and a growth mindset, this idea that their brain could grow. Now, both groups had been showing declining grades in math, but look at what happened after the intervention. The control group continued on their downward slide, but the group that learned the growth mindset showed a sharp rebound in their grades. Our biggest impact is with the lower achieving students. These are the kids that people give up on. These are the kids, maybe economists say you have to pay them to do well. But just by learning that their brains can grow through their own hard work and help from others, these kids came to life and started achieving again. Not every intervention has to be large, long-term, and costly. If we think about the key psychological factors that motivate students or that hold them back, we can have a big impact for a relatively modest input. The costs are minimal because we can deliver it online. As long as we get teachers on board and have them bring the students to the computer room, we can scale this intervention to thousands of students. It doesn't mean we've solved poverty. It doesn't mean that we've changed the quality of the school. All of these things are terribly important, but while we're working on them, we can make an immediate impact on the zest with which kids approach their schoolwork. If you have a whole society of people who think, I can get smarter, I can grow my skills, the sky's the limit.